Welcome back to Percentile Vice. My name is Emily. I'll be your keeper. I'm joined by Hannah for one very, very special episode of our running homebrew Call of Cthulhu campaign called Children of Cthulhu. Hannah plays Cara. Last time we were with our characters here, you were in a room, a large stone room with your two companions, Nate and Bernard, who were on the other side of the room looking at some large stone slate on the wall. And you can hear the two of them over there talking to themselves, and you're kind of mulling about, looking at the beautiful artwork on the walls, kind of running your hand across and kind of just enjoying being in a place no one's ever been before, and really having this moment. And I think you kind of lean too close and you hear some kind of ticking, whirring sound for just a moment before the tile that you're kind of pressed against begins to cave under you and swings open and you begin to fall through. And you can hear behind you the startled gasps of your companions, and you have a moment to kind of turn your head and you can see all of the tiles of the room are very violently spinning as the one that you have just fallen behind slams shut and you are plunged into darkness.
Okay.
So, you find yourself in utter darkness and you feel like you're falling. But not a very quick fall. It feels very slowed. You can feel something is kind of almost dragging you, like an upward drag. Something is keeping you from falling too fast. Almost like if you were falling through branches. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's still very pitch black, but you can definitely feel something kind of brushing against your body as you kind of are rustled down. But you can definitely feel with the wind coming up that you are going downward. So while this is happening and you're in pitch dark, what are some things that are going through your mind?
I'm thinking about what did I get myself into? But then there's like this voice that's going, but what if you find an even cooler room that no one's ever been in? So like, yes, I'm fearing for my life, but there's also like this, I'm going pretty slowly. I'll survive and we'll see a really cool room.
How bad could it be?
Exactly.
All right. So is there anything that you'd like to do just right at this moment?
Can I like reach out and like try and feel around me?
Yeah, certainly.
Anything I feel?
You definitely feel something. Several somethings jutting out around you in different directions. But you're not getting a great feel for it. Make me a spot hidden to see if you can really get a good, firm grasp on whatever's lowering you.
Yeah.
Spot hidden's a little bit of a, abstract concept here. We're going to see if you can maybe tell by sense of feel.
Regular success.
Okay. Whatever you're touching is definitely made up of multiple parts in one. Then maybe like 3 to 4 inches around, but it's flat. It's not circular. And it's maybe 2 or 3 different spokes that create this one long piece. And there's several of them all around you. They don't seem to be interconnected, but each one is a spoke of something, of 2 or 3 poles, maybe? You're not entirely sure.
I feel like a little ball in a kerplunk machine.
Very much like that.
Yes.
And as you begin to notice that below you, as you look down, that there is some kind of glowing light. And you're able to see shadow of all these things jutting out from what are effectively walls. They're a good maybe 4 feet from you on either side. So maybe it's 8 feet in diameter across. And you're not really able to see anything just because the light's so far away. But as you're doing this kind of feel around, you are able to kind of grab hold of one of the ones that like slips past your arm, and you're able to almost like let your arm follow it and grab hold of it.
And
stop yourself.
Yeah.
And at this point, you've stopped falling.
Mm-hmm.
And you're holding on by your own volition at this point. You can choose to let go and continue to fall, or you can make me a strength check to see if you can maintain that grasp.
I'm going to make a strength check. How strong am I? Not that strong, but we're going to try. That's a failure.
Okay. You try to continue to hold on, but it, that sudden jolt of being stopped causes you to loosen it, and you continue to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to do, or just continue your descent?
Can I try one more time to grab hold to something? Like, now that I know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, aim for one and, like, really prepare myself.
Okay. So to me, that sounds more like dexterity. You're trying to aim for something, make precision. Yeah, Go ahead.
That's going to be a regular success.
Yeah. So you actually feel one that's like coming up along like the side of your leg. As you slide down, and you're able to, instead of trying to grab it above your head, kind of grab it beneath you and kind of like use your upper body strength to kind of heave yourself above it. And you're able to get a good strong moment, and in that time you're able to feel a couple of the other ones around you and kind of brace yourself against them and maybe stick a foot out to put against the wall, kind of spider climb your way, just holding. But you have lowered enough now that the lighting is beginning to increase, and taking a look around, you begin to make out what these things coming out of the wall are. And they're skeletal arms that have been lowering you. And you can see that the ones beneath you are kind of, their hands are still flexing and waiting for you to continue downward. The ones above you have kind of gone limp, but the ones around you, they're holding firm to you, but the ones below you are like anticipatorily waiting, and they're flexing, waiting to see when you'll arrive in their grasp as they're lowered down this tunnel. But you can see below you that the light is emitting from some sort of hole, doorway, opening on one side of the tunnel. The choice is yours. You can try to make your way back up, or continue down.
I mean, these skeleton arms have been doing a great job so far. This is a regular Tuesday for her at this point.
You've had a lot of weird Tuesdays.
Honestly.
She's
gonna like slowly lower herself down and like test the next arm to make sure it's actually gonna hold her before letting go of the current ones.
Yeah. You start to kind of like release one arm and kind of work your way down, letting the hands kind of grab hold of you, and they're very gentle. They don't like grasp you firmly, but it's almost like where one will grab you, it will kind of lean down and hand you to the next one. And so while it's still very jostling, it's not rough. And as you let go of the highest one up, you kind of sink down further, and then you can stop yourself. But they're definitely able to hold your weight, but they seem to want to move you on their own volition. They don't want you to, they don't seem to be intended for you to climb on. Like they're trying to grab you and move you themselves.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go down.
Okay. So you relax a little bit. Are you going to give the arms full control, or are you going to continue to kind of lower yourself down at your own pace?
I'm going to give them full control.
Okay. You go for several more feet and getting this really kind of quickly jostled lowering effect happening. Make me a spot hidden.
Extreme success with a 10 under 75.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You notice very early on in this descent, the second portion of your descent, that you're going to run out of hands before you hit that opening.
Oh, can I see like how much space I have from the last?
It looks like you're going to need to do about a 10 to 15 foot jump downward. But you think if you angle it, because you got a real good look, like you were in the right position, you can see kind of the trajectory. You think if you find the right spot to leap from, that you'll kind of just coast. But you're going to have to time it really well to not end up smacking into the side of this tunnel thing that you're in.
We're going to try and time it up.
Okay. So, do you have a skill you would like to use?
Ooh, my first thought is dexterity.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of just timing up your body. Yeah, I'm good with dexterity if you are. If you wanted a more precise skill.
No, I will take a straight dexterity. But if you had like climb or anything, athletic that you wanted to attempt at for the sake of being able to cross it off, I was going to allow it.
No, I'm good with dexterity.
Okay. So you're going to try to get yourself to that sweet spot in the tunnel and then kind of leap off and try to coast your way down, yeah?
Yep.
All right, make me that dexterity roll.
That is going to be regular success, 45 under 80.
Okay. So you get to that position and you kind of plant one foot on the wall and, use that foot to kind of propel yourself off. And you begin to fall much faster than you're proceeding forward. And so you're hoping that the angle you've picked will kind of land you right there. It's an exhilarating few seconds where some seconds it looks like you're going to land it perfectly, and others you're a little low, you're a little high, and you're trying to plan it, but you do end up making it to that orifice. But unfortunately, you misaimed just a tiny bit and do kind of slam your arm into the corner of that opening. Don't take any damage, but it was not nearly as clean or precise as you had hoped it to be. But you managed to land it. There is a moment where you kind of teeter on the edge, and you're able to kind of stop yourself. But yes, you have managed to land in this opening. Before you lies a single door.
Do I recognize this door?
Make me an idea roll.
Education, intelligence.
Give me an intelligence.
That's a fail.
Yeah. You don't recognize the door. It is like a dark wood. It's strange. There's like stone side that then seems to almost directly fade into wood, wood side panels of a door. There doesn't seem to be a definitive start and end to the stone and the wood. But the door itself is it's not exactly like the ones you see in Statham Manor, but it would fit in. It's this like filigreed door with an ornate handle in the middle of a stone tunnel.
Yeah. I think I'm at like a good 2 out of 3 good things happen when I open things up. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up if I can.
Yeah, you certainly can. So you open the door and find yourself standing on a checkered tile floor, like black and white tiles all across this floor, wall to wall. You're standing on a black tile.
Yep.
To the sides of you, you can see there are again, these Toltec warrior stone statues. But there's some different ones. There's some, on rearing horsebacks. There's a beautiful queen in an ornate headdress. There's a handful of just different ones. They don't fill up every square, but it's like there's some on your side of the room, and then there's a handful on the other side of the room, and then some in the middle. And across the room, you see written in some kind of strange, language
Mm-hmm.
that you've never seen before, but you innately can read it.
Uh-huh.
It's not a known language to you. It's not Latin, it's not Spanish. It's something else, but you're able to read it, and when you read it, it almost feels like, like there's those smells from your childhood that just they hit so viscerally in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. It's like reading it hits very viscerally in the back of your mind in some place that you can't access independent of the stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as you take a moment and your brain kind of works around what you're reading, you're able to read it, and it says, "The path of a warrior is traveled by night. They shall find rest if they are just and right." Just below it, there are 2 doors. 2 identical, dark oak paneled filigree doors, identical to the one you've just stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize that they're identical, you turn around to see the door that you have stepped in is gone. And you are backed by a stone wall.
Oh. Okay. Can you read me the passage again?
I can. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
The path of a warrior is traveled by night. They shall find rest if they are just and right. So, what do you want to do, Cara?
Okay. So this looks like a chessboard to me, the way you described it. The way of the warrior is taken by night. Am I a night piece? Is that what I have stepped into?
Make me a spot hidden.
Regular success.
Yeah, so you definitely recognize the setup of a chess game in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
There are pieces that are missing. There are pieces that are moved about the center of the board, and the door where it deposits you is definitely in the knight space on a standard chessboard.
Yeah.
Your side is missing some pieces. The other side's missing pieces, and like I said, there are some pieces that are actively engaged in center board.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Way by night. Find rest if they are just and right. Okay, so is one of the doors on my right?
So below that passage, which is on the wall directly in front of you, there are 2 doors. They are one on the left, one on the right.
Okay. Cool. Can I start making my way to the right door, but in L pathways?
Okay. So
But I'm going to test the first one in front of me, like tap my toe on it to see if it's going to give way or anything.
Okay, I got you. So you make your first move. You're going to move like in the knight's movement style in the L shape?
Yep.
I gotcha. You make your first move, and every tile that you tap feels sturdy as you get to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it feels fine.
Okay. Cool. Then do any of the other pieces move after I've moved?
They do not.
Then I'm going to do another move but this specifically taking the 3 forward first and then the 1 right.
Okay.
To try and get across the board faster.
Okay. Make me a luck roll.
Okay. Regular success.
Okay, great. So you're able to take that move just fine.
Things are going too well.
It's a little anticlimactic, I gotta admit.
I'm like rethinking of the riddle just to make sure I'm not missing something. I'm not about to get like impaled. Um, okay. I'm gonna do another movement. Um, but as I'm approaching like other pieces, ho 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 ho. I
That was a very accusatory look you just gave me.
It was more
It
of a
was a look of, I
revelation.
know what you're doing. That was what it looked
It was,
like.
yeah. Okay, when I take my next move,
Mhm.
this time I want to make sure I'm not ending up in a spot that one of the other pieces could attack me in.
I got you. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. You don't want to move to a vulnerable position. I'm with you.
Correct.
All right, make me my luck check.
Another regular success.
Okay. So you're able to move in a position. It's not the most direct path. It's more of, moving up 1 and over 3.
Yep.
So you didn't travel as far forward on the map as you, or the chessboard as you would like, but you were able to avoid getting too close to, say, the rook. And felt no issue with the tiles, and now are kind of just moved over to one side of the board.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a slot on the opposing side that would correspond to the door, the right door that I'm trying to go to?
There's one for the right and the left side.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep going towards the right spot in whatever way I need to, staying in that L shape and avoiding vulnerable spots.
I gotcha. Okay, make me another luck check.
It's a failure, but I'm trying to decide whether I want to spend the
You can't
points.
spend luck points on luck checks.
Oh, you're right.
Because no matter how many you spend, you would just be driving your luck score down and still failing. Yeah, so you take your next move. Nothing bad happens, but you realize at the end of the move, crap, I've miscalculated and I'm going to be blocked.
Yeah, okay.
You look back at that moment, you look back at the tiles that you've treaded on. And while they felt sturdy as you walked on them, as you look back, they do look less sturdy.
Okay.
About 100% how much more they can take of you walking over them.
Uh-huh. Okay, is there a way I can backtrack without stepping on those, even if that means going more left and then down and around?
Yeah, you can continue to make moves, but you're going to lose progress and have to, kind of work your way in that L shape in different directions and try to get yourself lined up in a way that will align you to your exit that you're looking for.
Yeah, then we're gonna take the long way.
Okay, roll me another luck check.
That is hard success.
Okay. You take a moment, you look around, and you backtrack 1 or 2 moves, avoiding tiles you've already been on. And you kind of had this moment, this aha moment, where you look at the right door and you track back to the only space that you needed to be in to get to that. And then you're able to kind of do this math work in your head of where to go.
Okay.
And you're able to maneuver your way to that right door.
Okay.
And you are able to travel the rest of the way with no problems and arrive on the black square directly in front of the red door. Not the red door, the right door. I don't know why it was red. I guess I was talking about black and red. I don't know.
I'm going to open the door.
Okay. As you open the door, you are able to turn the handle and kind of push it open. And there's this moment where, as you're opening the door and you see that there's a new room ahead of you, Out the corner of your eye, you can see the left door, and it's almost like this black hiss sound comes out. Like there's like an ebbing aura off of it that kind of hisses at you as you pass safely into the next room.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Okay, what's this next room?
So you walk into the next room, and room is a loose term.
Uh-huh.
It's more like a giant empty cavern.
Mm-hmm.
And before you is a very long, very old rope bridge leading to some other opening on the other side of this large cavernous room.
Okay. And of course, it doesn't look sturdy at all.
Not in the slightest.
Okay. In my adventurer's pack that I have, is there some rope, or did those skeleton arms take it from me?
So you open your adventurer's pack to find that all the contents are gone. They must have, when you got shutted through, they must have been open, and you've lost pretty much everything. There's like a box of matches and like a combat knife left. But as far as rope, flashlights, flares, it's all gone.
What about my thigh holsters?
You still have them. You still have your guns, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. That gives me a little reassurance.
A little.
Just a little.
If I can't save myself, at least I'll go down fighting.
Exactly. Okay. We're gonna start crossing this bridge, holding on to the ropes.
Okay.
It's going. Do you remember that scene from Shrek 1 with Shrek and Donkey?
They're like shaking on it, yeah. Very much like that.
That's how I imagined this happening.
Okay. Make me a spot hidden.
I pulled up the wrong character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you're saving my life with just giving me some spot hiddens when I don't look. Regular success.
Okay. Yeah. While the bridge looks unsound, nothing really jumps out at you.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to continue on down the bridge?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So as you make your way across this bridge, you're reaching about the 1/4 point when your foot plunges straight through a board. Make me a dexterity check.
A 7. Extreme success.
So not only do you manage to keep yourself from falling through the board, but you're able to like get both feet onto the side ropes and off the boards entirely to give yourself a moment to figure out what you're doing.
Yes. Okay. Does the rope look sturdier than the boards at this point?
Make me a spot hidden roll.
Fail.
Yeah, it definitely looks like rope.
Perfect. Yeah.
Should have taken that rope class in college.
Should have. Okay, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep my feet more on the edge of the boards.
Okay.
So that it's not like focused down the middle,
I gotcha.
Yeah. I took like intro to physics in college.
Yeah, you're dispersing weight, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Make me a spot hidden.
Looks like Cara didn't pay attention to that intro to physics class.
Cara said, fuck physics.
Hard success.
Okay. You have this moment where, as you're walking along, you see a board about 4 boards ahead that you can see that on the bottom side is completely rotted out. And that good piece of, information allows you to skip that board entirely And now you've reached about the halfway point of the bridge.
Cool. Just gonna take a breather.
Yeah.
And then keep going.
Okay. So you continue down. Go ahead and make me another spot hidden.
A 5.
That's an extreme success for you?
Yep.
Okay. So you were able to see about 3 boards up ahead, and you're able to note them in your mind, all the way basically to the other side of which 3 boards are going to collapse if you step on them. Mm-hmm. So you feel confident in your ability to walk across the rest of this and avoid those 3 boards.
Okay. Awesome.
But while you're figuring out these boards with that amazing spot hidden roll, you're so like really tuned into details that you're also picking up a lot of great sounds. Mm-hmm. The first sound being you hear drips of water coming from beneath you, that kind of echoey, drippy, wet sound. Not like rushing water, but like damp cave kind of sound. Mm-hmm. But then you also hear the delicate creak and snap of ropes behind you.
Oh no.
As you turn around, you can see that at that very moment, both of the sides of the rope bridge on the opposite side where you've come from snap, and the rope bridge begins to fall. So you're going to need to make me either a dexterity, a strength, or some kind of run to get to the other side before this rope bridge drops you. I'll give you a moment to figure out how you want to do this. But then I'm going to need an answer of how you survive your falling rope bridge.
Okay. She hears it, and she is just going to prep her weight on the rope and like adjust her footing on the strong boards to where like when it finally falls, like she can absorb that impact.
Okay.
With a dexterity roll.
Okay, so you're not going to try to outrun it? You're going to try to ride the fall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So make me that dexterity roll.
Hard success.
Okay. You're able to like take both of your ankles and like wrap them up in the rope below you, and then both your hands and wrap them in the rope so that you feel secure, and you just kind of wait for a split second as you feel the rope behind you slacken, and you feel that rushing. You hear boards breaking and all right behind you. You start to hear the sounds of birds and bats and things like that, all kinds of creatures making all kinds of ruckus beneath you as all this debris starts falling. Mm-hmm. And then you start falling in a very wide pendulum because you are only halfway across a very long bridge. So you have a very long fall as the bridge begins to cave underneath of you. And you start to feel the wind coming up behind you. And it's whipping your hair, but you've got this really firm grasp. Mm-hmm. As you begin to see the rock face that you are plummeting towards.
Okay. I'm gonna try and twist my body a bit to where the brunt of the hit is going to be on my side and like not my head or whatnot.
Okay. So I need you to make me a strength roll, not only to be able to kind of maneuver your body in that kind of speed, but also to brace yourself.
That's a failure.
How bad of a failure?
71 over 55.
Okay.
So about 16 points?
Yeah. So you are able to get yourself somewhat turned, but not fully in time to get completely turned, nor enough to brace yourself. So when your body hits that rock, you're kind of hit it at a 3/4, and you're not able to stop your head from cracking against the side. So you got to take some damage.
Yeah. How much
health are you at right now?
11 out of 11.
Okay. So that is 2 points of damage for the crack in your skull.
Cool.
You can definitely feel that blood starting to come down your temple, and it's kind of getting into one of your eyes. But you're standing there and you have a moment to kind of ponder, and you look up and you now realize you have 50 to 75 feet to climb.
Mm-hmm.
And not entirely sure if the other end was that unsturdy, how sturdy the rope above you is.
Mm-hmm. I should have outran it.
Probably, yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to make either, give a climb skill?
I do.
Okay. So make me a climb roll. Hopefully you got a decent score in it.
About the same as I do in track, which...
Nobody put shit in track.
Well, it was the only, run roll I had.
Not track. We've gone through this with John, and not track like the field thing, but like tracking animals, tracking people. We have had this conversation on this stream like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Why does everybody think it's track and field? Call of Cthulhu is like track and field is so important in the 1920s. They were doing so many hurdles.
Gotta outrun things.
You gotta outrun that shit. You gotta outrun the fucking... Oh my god, y'all are killing me.
Wow.
A
success.
A success.
I was not expecting that.
Okay, so you are able to kind of unwind yourself from the bridge and begin your climb. You get a good rhythm going. And you get about maybe a third of the way up before you start hearing that telltale creaking again. So I'm going to need another climb check to try to get there faster. You realize at the pace you're going, you're not going to make it to the top.
Another 45. I just rolled 2 45s in a row. In a row.
In a row? So you have, that's a success? A regular success? Okay.
Yep.
So you continue to climb and you get about another 1/3 of the way up, so you're 2/3 up before you begin to feel the snapping. Okay. You realize that if you really push, you might be able to kind of launch yourself off of the rock face and jump up and grab some ledge, a piece of rope, something. But you're going to need to do another dexterity check to see if you can reach up there and grab it, or you're going to plummet to the bottom.
Okay, let's do this. Let's make that last jump. Okay. It was a failure, but I'm going to spend 4 luck points and get there.
It's a very smart use of luck points. Yeah.
I've been saving them up.
Saving them just for moments like this.
Yo.
So you do this kind of almost like running climb thing where you're like taking the boards 2 and 3 at a time and really trying to build up speed. You find like a ledge built into the rock face. You can get 1 foot up to really kind of push yourself upwards right as the ropes on both sides snap and you start hearing the boards bang against the stone face, but you are already launching yourself and you're able to get 1 hand up on the ledge. And then a second hand, and now you're hanging from this ledge and a drop that is an unsurmountable amount of space because you can't see the bottom. And you need to get yourself up. So strength check, please, or climb.
A motherfucking 6. Extreme success.
6. Beautiful. Did you use climb? Did you use climb or strength?
I use strength.
Yeah. So you just dealt your way, just heave yourself up, and you stand up on the edge of this ledge, and you can look back and you can see there's still bits of this rope bridge that you can still see falling, and you have yet to hear anything hit the bottom. And you realize how far it must be for you to still not hear anything.
Yeah.
And you find yourself on a rocky ledge with 1 opening leading down a curving tunnel. The floor is sandy. There's a bit of light coming from the tunnel. But otherwise, Not really much going on this one little ledge here.
Okay. That felt like you've played the Tomb Raider series, right? Or at least one of them.
Yeah, I've played several of them.
So, like, when you have those sequences where you have to hit the buttons just
Quick
in
time actions, yeah. QTs,
yes.
yeah. Quick time events, I love those.
Yep.
Very much so.
I'm gonna go down the...
No time to reminisce on surviving it, time to go.
Exactly. We're gonna keep going.
Okay. So you begin to walk down this tunnel, and like I said, there's some light coming from it. The floor's sandy. Make me a spot hidden roll, please. We're relying very heavily on spot hiddens here. Forgive me.
44 regular success.
Okay. You notice that there are these like gouges in the walls of this stone tunnel. It's a rough-hewn stone tunnel. It's not like cut pristinely, but there are these gouges that are only really on the upper portions of the tunnel and the ceiling. So like your shoulders and up. Below there doesn't seem to be these gouges. And then you see once or twice, instead of a gouge, there's these giant puncture marks into the stone that are about, 6 inches in diameter with blood splatter all around them. Lovely place to be.
Lovely. Can I look at the ground for any like pressure plates?
Certainly. Go ahead and make me a track roll. Because you're having to run through sand and you're looking for signs in the sand. I
succeeded.
Nice.
28 under 30.
Beautiful. No, you've seen no evidence of any sort of striations, any differentiation in the ground to notate any kind of trapped floor pieces. And with that being said, the gouges that you're seeing on the wall are very erratic.
Okay.
They're not like systematic. They're spread out there at different thicknesses. Some of them cross over each other. They're very haphazard, very organic. Yeah.
And the splatter that I saw was like directly like...
It was about right at where your head, like head high, on the wall.
Gotcha.
Like surrounding the puncture mark in the wall.
Okay, so she is gonna crouch and kind of just like zigzag however she needs to be to avoid these gouges above her.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's gonna be pretty difficult to do because they are very all over the place.
Yeah, okay.
But you could try to make like a stealth roll because you're trying to effectively outmaneuver and pass by undetected of whatever you think is above you. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see how good I am at stealth before I commit to this. Guess I've already said it. I gotta commit.
You don't have to commit to it. You can choose to not do that. It's just me and you. We don't have to tell the boys. It's not like one of them's in the room and the other one's watching. It's fine.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. That's gonna be a tough roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll it for me. Let's see what you do. Because you've been lucking out a lot. Did you luck out?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a failure.
What was your skill in it?
20. Rolled a 97.
That's a big old failure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel unconfident in your ability to do this, but you try. You kind of skulk around in a kind of crouched stance, trying to avoid like the clusters more or less, but there's so many on the walls that you're not avoiding being directly under any of them. But the areas that look the most populated with these gouges, you manage to kind of stay to one side or the other side. But yeah, you by no means avoid them.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think what could be triggering them to know what to avoid. Because this clearly has to be spikes coming up the wall.
Maybe you could investigate them a little further.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Do you want is there an investigate roll? I feel like there has to be.
No. But I'd take like natural world or something involving stone, because you want to look at the stone and see if you can, figure out what's going on here.
Can I advocate for archaeology?
You can make me a case for it.
Okay, so in archaeology, there's a lot of studies of structures and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So in looking at these stones, be basically inspecting their structure and their cultural significance to where I'm at, and whether or not I know of any like traps that have been set up in place of tombs, you know?
Okay. I gotcha. Go ahead and make me the archaeology roll.
Regular success.
Okay. So the stone is a strange stone. It feels like some sort of composite of several different kinds, but you don't see the striations or the kind of like load patterns that you normally see on like a composite stonework. So you're not entirely sure what it is. You're maybe just not familiar with it, or you just haven't dealt a lot with it, but it's not readily coming to you. You would probably need some more field notes or better equipment than just, your eyes. As far as any traps that you know of in this region, this area, this culture, not really. That would involve something like this. You think in order for a trap to be this organic, it would have to be moving in a way that was organic. And any trap has to have like a fixed point, a fixed trigger. And while it can move sort of erratically, at some point it has to have like a pattern. It's not, in order for it to reset and be reused multiple times, it wouldn't just be this organic. So you don't feel like any known traps that you've known of fit this modus operandi of these gouges.
Now I'm also wondering if the riddle from the very beginning still carries over. Like, if I just lean to the right and just take the right, am I safe? Probably not.
Never safe.
Never.
Am I less in danger?
Oh. Okay.
So what you want to do?
We are gonna keep going forward. If I am like below one, I want to keep an eye on it and be prepared to jump out of the way if need be.
I gotcha. You want to move cautiously, anticipatorily. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're able to continue down this hallway, and when you get under one of these gouges, you're able to really kind of watch it as it passes, and you feel like you're kind of doing this like rubbernecking because there's so many of them. But you're able to pass through this hallway uneventfully. And it leads into a large, massive domed room. Probably several hundred feet radius, circular room. The floor this entire time has been sand in this hallway. And the sand leads up to this room where it is kind of mounded. And it looks almost like there's a small opening at the top that's allowing sand to kind of pour in. It's not currently pouring in, but the apex of this sand mound is definitely lined up with whatever hole this is above. but you can see that at the very top of this room, it's probably several hundred feet. It's a massive room. With probably 30, 40 feet high sand dune in the center.
Is there anything running along the walls that are different from the rest of it?
There's more of the gouges, more of the punctures, but otherwise it's smooth. Well, as smooth as rough-hewn rock can be. There doesn't seem to be any openings, decoration, items, nothing.
And like, how much distance is between the top of the sand dune to the hole that the sand is coming out of?
Probably about 200 feet.
Cool. Can I go up to one of the gouges and inspect it further? Like, I'm not standing right in front of it, but like off to the side of it to try and just look at
One of the gouges in the room, or one of the gouges in the hall? Oh, okay.
In the room.
So you step into the room, and you have this moment where you're trying to climb on loose sand, which is not always a pleasant experience. You know, your feet are kind of sinking, but you kind of move yourself along the side of the room, and you're able to look at these gouges, and they look identical in structure to the ones out there. Like I said, they're all organic and different, but they match what you've seen previously in the hallway.
Can I make my way around the room to see what's on the other side of this huge dune?
Yeah.
If there's anything.
So you're gonna walk around the outside of the room? Okay. You begin walking, and like I said, it's very tough to walk on this loose sand, but you're making ways, and you're getting a little better as you get used to how your footing needs to be. But due to the size of this room, you realize it's gonna take you a while to kind of traverse this. And as you're walking, you know, you can see the sand beneath you that's kind of rolling off of where your feet fall. But you notice that there's some sand from further up the dune that is beginning to kind of cascade its way down to you.
Oh.
And as you turn to look, you see that there's something flexing under the sand. You can see the sand is kind of roiling up in these places. And there's a moment where you're just kind of transfixed, trying to figure out what you're seeing. Is it the sand rolling off in a weird way? When all of a sudden, the sand just almost bursts outwards. And you see in this sand cloud some large figure. And you're not able to tell quite what it is, but you are able to make out one distinct fact with this cloud everywhere. Is that there is definitely some sort of very large, very scorpion-like stinger. Cara, as the sand cloud begins to dissipate, you know, like I said, you can see this one massive scorpion-like stinger. And you begin to make out the rest of the body. And it is very scorpion-like, except for as you move up the body and you get to the front where the head of the scorpion ought to be, and there's these two very large pincers, there is instead this upright body of something akin to a man, but very, very scorpion-esque. But it has like a torso and shoulders and two human-like arms, but it is covered in this exoskeleton across the skin. The face and the head have these knobby little spikes that is kind of covering the whole body. And the face has these little grabby pincers right at the mouth. And you see it kind of very viciously snap its head in your direction, and you see the little mouth pincers begin to undulate very aggressively, and you hear it make these like clicking sounds as it begins to rush the sand towards you. And we're going to go into combat order. So what is your dexterity, ma'am?
80.
Okay. You have the first move.
I'm gonna pull out the gun on my right hip, my Glock, and I'm just gonna go ahead, whip it out, and start firing towards the humanoid torso that it has.
Okay. So you're going to need to roll the firearm usage skill for me.
Oh, firearm. Oops.
You should have a couple. You'll have like one with shotguns and rifles, one with handguns.
Mm-hmm. Handgun. Regular success.
Okay. Yeah, so you are able to kind of like level your shot right for like the torso-ish area, and take your shot at him. He is going to try to dodge your roll.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I should have had dice out, shouldn't I? That's the thing I should have done. Oh, and he fails his dodge. So you were able to roll your damage.
Okay. Is that... Oh, okay. Cool. Sorry, I'm getting a hang of roll 20.
You're okay.
Damage is gonna be 2.
Okay. So you see that your bullet strikes true like right in one of the like pectoral chunks of exoskeleton, and that bullet just ricochets right off.
Cool.
You do see that he does acknowledge the impact though.
Yeah.
Like there's a jolt back, but it doesn't pierce that exoskeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I spot any spot where there... It's exoskeleton, it's gonna be all over, but is there any like previous wounds that like don't have that skeleton?
You're looking for the smog point.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead and make me a spot hidden roll.
That's gonna be a hard success.
Okay. So while you don't see any previous wounds or like missing pieces of the exoskeleton, you definitely know that there are the joints of the legs, the arms, the stinger that are going to be a softer cartilage that are not going to be exoskeleton, but they are much more minute and harder to hit. Now, given the size of this, they are still decent sized targets, but they are not nearly as big as the exoskeleton chunks that you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Any movements you want to do or anything like that?
I'm just gonna keep going along the rim to try and keep as much distance between him and me as I can.
I gotcha. All right. So that makes it Scorpion Man's turn. I didn't come up with a cool name for this monster. I should have, but I didn't. We'll call him Scorpio, like the astrological sign.
Nice.
So you see him. He tracks you with his eyes, and you see his body scuttles in a very unique way in that the front two legs don't move much. They tend to pivot, but the back legs are very vigorously shuffling behind him and realigning him so that he's always kind of following you, tracking you with the front two pincers, while the back is kind of swinging. You also see that the stinger behind him is kind of... It's almost like it's following where his face goes. Like if he's looking, it's also kind of looming behind him. And then he begins to rush in your direction. And he is built for this sand. Even with his heavy weight, his distribution on all these legs makes him incredibly fast on this sand. And in the fact that he's higher up than you on the sand means that he's almost like surfing and scuttling down this dune in your direction and is able to clear the distance between the two of you like that, like nothing.
Yeah.
As he approaches, he actually pulls one of the clawed arms out and tries to bash you against the wall with this arm, almost like a running past you with his charge attack and hit you. So he's going to be doing a fighting maneuver. You can choose to either fight back or dodge.
I'm going to fight back. I'm going to try and shoot at his pincer while he's trying to bring it down.
Okay. All right. How did you do?
Is it just a...
It's going to be levels of success. So he got an extreme success.
So would I just do my firearm
Yes.
thing again? Gotcha. Just a regular success.
Okay. So you're still able to fire off the shot, but him coming at you with this large pincer, and it's almost like he gives you like a vicious right hook with his pincer, but he's kind of pressing you against the wall at the same time, and it hits hard. For 4 points of damage.
Oh!
And he now has you pinned against the wall. And you can feel tiny little pincer legs, little legs beginning to like you can feel them coming up towards your main body. And it's your turn.
I am going to shoot straight for his stinger if I can.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a penalty dice because you are trying to hit a very specific part of the body. You'll take the worst roll of the two.
That puts me at a 68 over a 60, but I'm going to spend the luck points.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. And then he is going to try to dodge. And he failed, so you succeed.
Yay.
So you may roll your damage.
It's going to be 7 points.
Okay. So you do see it does actually find a spot of the exoskeleton and breaks through. But you get the feeling just somehow that it's not as effective as you'd hoped it would be.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Is there anything I can do to try and get out from under him from being pinned against this wall? Is that more of an action that I should have done?
I'll allow you to give it a shot. So you're going to need to probably use a strength roll to try to break yourself out. But you're going to contest it against his strength to hold you there.
Cool. 52, regular success.
He got an extreme success.
Awesome.
So you failed.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you need to do on your turn?
Can I switch to my sawed-off shotgun on my other hip? I don't know. I'm pinned. I don't know if that logistically will work.
I'll let you.
Not do it.
Well, no, I can let you. Yeah, that's fine. You're going to have to drop the pistol, though. You're not going to be able to holster and pull. You can holster and pull next turn, but I'll let you either holster it or drop the pistol and pick up your shotgun, but you can't do both. And I'm probably letting you do too much, but I don't care.
We're going to keep the Glock in my hand.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that makes it Scorpion Man's turn. His face is now really close to yours, and these pincers at the mouth, you can see that they've got like lines of saliva as he is just foaming at the mouth to just really take a big old chunk out of you. Like I said, you can feel these like smaller pincer legs that are in the undercarriage of the body that are beginning to grab hold of your legs, and you can feel that this other claw is wrapping around behind you, and it's kind of lifting you off while this top like claw is pinning your shoulders, but the rest of it is kind of angling your body outwards so that you're laying almost horizontally, but your head and your neck are still pinned to the wall. And you see this moment where the stinger is rearing up, and you can see it kind of flex behind him as it begins to take aim right for you, and he is going to try to attack you with this pincer. So you may attempt to dodge or fight back.
We're gonna fight back. Regular success.
All right. He also got a regular success, which
So
means it goes to him.
Fuck.
So you try to take this one last shot at this pincer to try to take it off course, and you just don't get a true enough shot. And there's this moment where everything goes a little soft, a little quiet, and all you really see is this pincer that's about 6 inches at its widest, just barreling for the center of your chest. And there's this moment of, will you tell me, what is this moment right before this pincher's about to plunge directly into your chest? What does Cara feel?
Almost glad that it's her and not the other 2 boys. You know, like, if it's going to be someone, at least it's her, so she can stop hurting other people.
I got you.
But there's also that, but I'm not done here. You know, there's still
there's loose
more
ends.
things to do. Yeah.
I got you. And this moment feels like it drags for a long time. It's almost like, like when you're dreaming and something that should take seconds feels like it lasts so long. And there's this moment where the pincer is inches from your chest and you feel your body kind of exhale right before the searing pain of this pincer just jams through the center of your torso. And given the size and the placement, you're not surviving this.
Yeah.
And everything begins to go black. And get cold. And you're sitting there in this kind of void of cold, dark. There's pain. There's not a lot of sounds going on besides you can hear your own heartbeat kind of fluttering in and out. You don't feel his claws on you. You don't feel the cold stone. You just feel cold all over. You don't feel the sand. You don't even really feel like his breath or the all the sensations you were feeling. Everything just kind of blinks out. But then things start coming back to you. And that cold does feel like cold stone. But cold stone underneath of you. Your pulse goes back to normal. And you wake up. And you're in a dark place, but you can see the outline of something square directly next to you. And you can hear the voices of your 2 male friends just on the other side of the square. You can hear them calling out, "Have you seen Cara? Where did she go? She was just here. I thought, I don't know. She was just..." And you can hear them panicking. But you can still also hear the swirling and re-clicking of all these panels in the room. Like it's been mere seconds.
I'm gonna sit up, stand up, and go, I'm here, and like start trying to tap on the square that's separating us.
Yeah. As you begin to kind of press on the square, it does loose and you fall kind of ungracefully into this well-lit room, and it's a very shocking light for you. And you can see across the way your 2 friends. They look very relieved to see you. And you hear them talking about themselves and kind of heading over to you. And there you stand in this room. Make me a spot hidden roll.
$99. Failure.
Okay. Yeah, you don't notice anything about the boys that seems out of place, seems pretty fine. But you do notice, even with that failure, that the very center of your chest itches. Just below your shirt.
Can I look down at my chest, like go to scratch it and like see if there's a bug or anything?
Yeah. So as you pull your shirt back a little bit to kind of look, you see that there is this very quickly fading, but very much real, wide scar, about 6 inches wide, that is slowly dissipating from your skin. By the second, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, until after just a few seconds, it's completely gone. And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
God damn.
God damn.
Oh. Man.
Right.
You're like, I couldn't kill her before. Let's just throw her a huge ass scorpion centaur.
Scorpion centaur. Scorpio. But yeah, that's the end of your little mini-sode for just you.
Oh.
So, that's where the official episodes end. If you guys hang around for just a few more minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that we did not experience, because we will not be coming back here. So, Hannah, first of all, first thoughts. What you thinking? How was it?
I wish I had done better in that fight.
You wish you'd done better in what?
In the fight sequence.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing so well. And then that scorpion just...
Yeah, he was a big baddie.
Yeah, but I also recognize that I avoided a lot of near-death experiences.
You did. And I won't give you off everything, but there were a couple cool things that I was really proud of. So, the first being, you had a very real chance of dying in several places.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite places was the chessboard room.
Yeah.
Because, one, you had to get so many successful luck rolls to get the correct path. Now, I'll admit, it did not occur to me to have the chess pieces attack you. I did not get as far as wizard chest in my head, and I should have. But you could make enough failed luck rolls that you would be on the wrong, like you would have miscalculated your moves. And then every time you went over those spots again, they got weaker and you could eventually fall through them. But that's not the best part of that room. So there's the riddle, right?
Yeah.
If you had gone up there and not thought about right door, left door, and gone to the left door, the left door was going to put you back at the top of the tunnel of arms, and you were going to restart. And it was also going to give you a 1d10 sanity loss.
That's so cool.
On top of that, when you got back in the room, the message on the wall was going to change. So the new message was going to say, the path of a warrior is traveled by night. They must show perseverance to not be left behind. So if you'd read that, would you have gone to the left or gone to the right?
Left.
And that was the goal, because if you go to the left, you will still get put back to the beginning because it's to not be left.
Left
to not be left. Because you have to be right.
Yeah.
So the chessboard room was my favorite, and you didn't even get to experience the best part of it, which is basically it hard resets you to the back at the beginning of the level.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time you chose the wrong door, it was going to do 1d10 sanity loss, which could immediately throw you into crazy territory, like with a poor roll.
Yeah.
You handled the rope bridge room pretty well. I did not anticipate you not running across the bridge. I really thought when I was like, she's going to reach the halfway point, it's going to start to fall, and she's going to book it. And you were like, okay, I'm just going to grab hold. I'm like, what? That's not, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, let me think about it here. And I'm like, well, but she still has like 50 more feet and like triangles and shit. Like, she's going to have to travel 50 feet and smack into the wall. I was like, okay, great. And then you had to do a lot of, basic effective quick time actions to get yourself, once again, failing those would have resulted in you plummeting to your death.
Mm-hmm.
And starting back at the top of the tunnel with the arms.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so basically, I made this whole thing like a video game.
Yeah.
Um,
like I saved at the arms, and then whenever I would die, I
you
would
have
just...
to restart it. There was no traps in the hallway with the gouges. That was more of a hint to what was to come. Like,
Yeah, I was
everything
paranoid
was
at that point.
Yeah, but everything like shoulder and up was because that's where his stinger effectively sits, in that range.
Yeah.
But when you entered the room, you were going to be given 1 or 2 attempts to like walk through the room before you disturbed it.
Yeah.
And, it was going to wake up.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple ways that, obviously you could beat him on one-on-one combat.
Uh-huh.
The other way that I was hoping you were going to think of was that he runs at that magnificent speed that he like slides and almost surfs down the sand. And that if you had ran back out the tunnel, he could have just ran straight off into that ravine.
I wish I had thought of that.
Right. Yeah. So I made this like a little mini adventure just for you. It's not super part of canon, but it was super fun. And I named it Cthulhu in Wonderland.
I love that. Oh my god. And it's like the rabbit hole going down with the arms.
And it was very much the Labyrinth and Alice in Wonderland and Tomb Raider just all thrown in a blender.
Yes.
Because, like, the Labyrinth, the movie, there's, like, the arms and stuff. Like, it's the same princess. So, I hope you really enjoyed your little mini-sode.
I enjoyed it so much. I am terrified that maybe I'm not alive. I'm actually just in purgatory. And I'm reliving.
It very well could be. I won't tell you how this plays into... Because it does play in.
Oh, yeah.
But I just... there's not a whole lot of, like, deep-seated lore in this, but it does, the event happening to you does play in.
Yeah.
But I will not explain how.
Cool. What was after? If I had defeated the scorpion centaur, what was there anything else planned?
Maybe, but I might be saving that for somebody else. Okay. It's unused material at this point, which is gold. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It ran a little shorter than I anticipated because you kept... Yeah. I anticipated you were going to have to do several parts of it over again, and you didn't. You never had to do it over again. You were just like, nah, fuck it. I'm going to roll crits the entire time. Just some bullshit.
No, I was truly expecting to die right there. I was like, yep, this might be the last moment a car has ever lived.
You looked really kind of sad. When it was, I was like, I feel so bad because I feel like I'm pulling a Dallas. You know that TV show Dallas, where like ended up all that crazy shit happened and ended up being a dream.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm pulling effectively a Dallas on her. I'm like, yeah, and you died, but wait,
but wait, there's more.
There's more. Yeah. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was like this weird, like I'm either I'm fine or I'm dead. And that's okay. I will become Iggy.
Yes. And you still don't know which one you're on.
Exactly.
You still don't know if you're fine or if you're dead. So.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for tonight. I was very proud of my little Cthulhu in Wonderland little mini-sode thing. And I just wanted to tell you all about it because I was proud of it. And the rest of that material will never see the light of day because I've wasted it on someone who rolled too well.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Next time I'll just torture John.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead.
I honestly believe sometimes the computer gives me better rolls than I would have gotten if I had rolled it physically.
Yeah. John does not let me use Roll20 half the time because like I got like 3 crits in a row one time with my my rogue in D&D and he thinks it's rigged.
Yeah.
I let her use Roll20. I just bitch about it the entire time.
Not Roll20. It was D&D Beyond. But he does bitch about it the whole time to the point where I stopped using it because he was right. It was giving me way too many good rolls. I I think what we can prove is that while it's statistically possible to roll that well, it's only statistically possible if the rolls do not actually happen at your own hand. It has to be by a computer to have that statistical spread.
Yeah.
If it's your own hand, it's trash. But this dude literally rolled like a 9, a 6. He rolled critical successes on like nearly everything. And I was like, well, dude, I was like serious about killing her, but shit, you had to go so hard.
And like my dodge is at a 40, but my firearm is at a 60. So I was like, he's rolling really well. It's better if I just go ahead and try and fight this.
Yeah.
Than chance it with the dodges.
That's true.
But
you should make sure you might knock those off so that you can improve them, because you used a lot of skills today. A lot of spot hidden. I apologize, but
it's all good.
This is meant to be puzzle type stuff, and so you have to figure out if you notice the bits and bobs. So, all right. Well, that's it for tonight. We hope you guys had a great time with everything. This is Percentile Vice. You should check out us on YouTube. We have a podcast. You should hit like and subscribe and do all those things. Puncture that likes and subscribe button. I have been your keeper. My name's Emily. This has been Hannah, who plays Cara, and we hope to see you back next time. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Why does everybody think it's track and field? Go ahead and make me a track roll. Because you're having to run through sand.